Hi, welcome back on in. This is the Chewing the Breeze podcast. My name is Doug,
Hi there, and my name is Steve, and my phone is Toaster.
and this is our video game like analysis, current event, everything. Just video game stuff we want to talk about. Uh, Usually we have a game we are kind of reviewing slash analyzing. Usually being we have one episode before this, and but
We have
tonight
one episode that is on the official direction that we decided to go. We have talked plenty of game stuff before, and kind of the false starts that are also kind of getting posted concurrently, I believe. But we shall see.
yeah. So today we're just going to be talking. Like yesterday, we had both the Nintendo Direct and a Sony State of Play in the same day, which is bold for one of those companies to try and pull off. But it worked out for having a lot of video game news for us to talk about. So we want to just kind of cover and say what we were excited about from those games and whatnot. But we also will try to start off our episodes with like kind of like a bright spot, kind of something nice going on with what our lives right now. And what's yours today? I think I went first last time. Actually, I
Yeah.
know I went first because I definitely kind of stole what you were going to talk about.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's fine. So here's a question for you. Have you ever seen a anime called Spy Family?
Yes, technically.
I have been working through it. I've been enjoying it immensely.
It's so
And like and it's kind of funny on the timing of that because well, spoilers for the next half an hour or some sometime in the Nintendo Direct they have a Spy Anya game which
wow.
I don't
Spoilers.
know. Yeah, such spoilers. I don't know how close to the actual plot of the show like that game is gonna get because it looked a lot more saccharine somehow. But I just thought it was like basically while I'm listening to the direct or whatever, I just kind of was like, wait a minute, Forger? Wait, what kind of game is it? So, but back to the bright spot stuff. We're about to I'm about to get to the end of the series. I think I have like 6 episodes left, but it has been a pretty solid trip.
It's
the
a
entire way
super
through.
cute show. I need to catch up on it because it's very. I've seen a good part of like the first. No. The second season's not out yet. I don't think.
I didn't know they were working on a second season.
I think
So
it comes out like a little bit later in like a couple months or so or something like that. But we
so let's call that my bright spot. Not only did I find a good show, there's another season of it coming. The last time that happened, the last time I found a good show that I was excited to watch the next season of was Vox Machina, and we got basically the second season had just come out, so I basically had 2 full seasons to watch, and now I'm excited for the third that won't be here for a while longer. So that's wonderful. Anyway, I've monopolized enough time. What's your bright spot today, my friend?
so like you kind of joked about it last time, and that Pokemon was probably going to be my bright spot, and I'm going to bring it up again today. I'm going to bring up the Pokemon DLC because I've been playing it. I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's definitely the performance issues are not fixed, and that's not okay. But I am just really having fun exploring this new area and finding stuff. I found 3 shiny Pokemon in like 2 hours of gameplay. That is ridiculous, and I don't have like the shiny charm or all the extra stuff like that makes it so you can find shiny Pokemon. But I found a shiny Ekans, a shiny Mudbray, and then a shiny Houndoom, like the little demon dog. And I'm like, that was ridiculous. And
Wasn't Golbat just saying he found a shiny Houndoom?
he found a shiny Houndour, the
Oh, okay.
first stage. So
Got it,
yeah,
got it.
that's pretty cut and dry right there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the Sony one first, just because I think they both were great. I'm gonna just say this right now. I think they were both great showings. I am not the kind of person that goes into a direct or a presentation being like, if they don't show X, it's a waste of time. What?
Yeah, I honestly was not impressed with State of Play, but yeah, that's what we're here to talk about, to go back and forth.
Fair.
It'll be
Yeah.
funny.
Like they both showed plenty of games I want to buy. Like I know when we were discussing this, like getting this episode together, we're like, hey, what games do you want to actually discuss? And you were like, you gave me like 2 games from the Direct and 1 from the State of Play, and I think that was like a begrudgingly given me from the State of Play.
In fairness, I was also trying to remember it from memory because I wrote down like all the games as they were. Yeah, remember it from memory. I'm good at words.
Yep.
My words are the best words. Oh God, no. Moving on.
Don't go down this route. All right, I'm not gonna. But
For serious though, like I just couldn't remember like all the stuff that was there, and the journal I took notes in was at home and all that. So I have like a proper list here, but for State of Play, the thing I'm just gonna say about State of Play real quick, I literally wrote down like WTF, like in my journal, because like I don't think Baby Steps necessarily looks bad, but
I do.
I mean, it looks experimental and all that, like, but like the problem is that like I felt like the point of it like went on for way too long. Like it was like, oh, we're gonna start our State of Play like with 5 minutes of just kind of like watching an idiot act like an idiot and all that, and it wasn't that funny, and it was just kind of like, what is this even? Then the marketing person or whatever came out and said like, we're like tapping into all these like independent designers and stuff like that. And then immediately after that, you had Roblox, you had PSVR 2 with Ghostbusters and Resident Evil 4, and then you had Avatar. I'm just like, yeah, a lot of independent designers right there. Like what like did you just kind of get tossed into this like and like
that was kind of a weird thing for me too, because like they're like, oh yeah, all these indie showings, and I can really say that it wasn't really a lot of indie showings, because I mean, like you said, like let's just go into talking about like the Glossy because we kind of went into it a little bit, but Baby Steps is a game made from a few creators, most notably Bennett Foddy, who made Getting Over It, and I have negative interest in playing this game. I don't like the whole. It did not appeal to me at all watching that. Did you have anything else you want to say about Bennett Foddy, or did you already get your little soapbox done?
I pretty much got my soapbox done. I guess the only other thing I can possibly say is just like I think part of the idea, and isn't this that kind of the thing with Getting Over It, is this got weird controls, so part of the joy comes from like making the controls work for you in some of the situation. Like
I have negative interest. Roblox
it was a really weird way to start your game, your marketing thing that's supposed to hype people for games.
Yeah. Roblox is coming.
You do you, Sony, whatever.
Roblox is coming not to PS5 specifically. It's coming to specifically PS4, which it's probably going to be playable on PS5, but it was just funny that it announced it as a PS4 game. We got Ghostbusters VR coming for...
I have very little interest in Roblox. PSVR 2, the one thing I'm going to say about that is it's weird that they're showing off like multiplayer stuff or something like that, because how many people had a PS5 and then how many people also got the PSVR?
That's fair. I had that random thought. They showed the Resident Evil 4 DLC, which looked really fun. It's focusing on Ada Wong. And also Resident Evil 4 will be playable in VR, which I know is something they announced a while back, but I think I forget the release date, but I think they had a more concrete time frame for it now. The DLC comes out in like a month or so.
Yeah. Resident Evil 4, like best Resident Evil game, or so I hear. I didn't play all the way through it once upon a time, and if I'm going to play through it, I'm probably going to play one of the remastered ports of the original. I'm probably not going to go with the remake unless someone is like, yeah, you absolutely must, or what have you.
So, and then we got the Avatar game, which okay. So the only reason I wanted to like kind of talk a little bit more about this one is I was driving to a restaurant with my wife, and I was watching the VR, watching the State of Play on my phone, and I stood up in my seat watching this, like the landscapes and stuff that it showed. I was like, Xenoblade? Because it had like that kind of like that fantastical look about it, and I was just like, this is Xenoblade? And like, no, it wasn't. It was Avatar. It looks like it'll be a game. I just don't. It's not big for me. They showed Ghost Runner 2, which I have the first one. I very much want to play it. It's like a first person platformer reaction kind of game. I've seen some people play it. I have it. It looks super fun. It has a really awesome soundtrack. And so the fact that the second one's coming out makes me kind of want to play the first one soon. You good?
Yeah, I had to mute my mic for a second because
City
traffic.
Alarm. Yeah.
Yeah.
They showed Helldivers 2.
Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't see Ghost Runner at first because for some reason I thought like it was a Terminator game, and I was kind of stoked about like, oh, okay, they're going to play with something like that, because I think I heard Connor and them say like something about something Connor, and I was like, John Connor, so Terminator, or Ghost Runner looked fine. It was just
the gameplay for it. Like the first one was a lot of fun to watch people play, so I definitely have it. Helldivers 2, which is like a co-op shooter game. The funniest thing about that was the dialogue they had during the trailer was just so staged. It was just like that.
Yeah, I think fun fact, the state of play like video that I wound up watching, the top comment on it was just kind of like, can we not have these fake gamers talking over these games and stuff? And yeah, it was very, very, very
I wouldn't go so far as to say that it's fake gamers. I just think it was very scripted.
Yeah, it was basically as manufactured as the rage that commenter probably put into their comment.
Yeah,
but I mean, Helldivers 2, it looked kind of interesting. I think the biggest problem with a lot of the games that they showed off in the state of play was that a lot of it just kind of lingered on for so long, and I'm just kind of like, okay, I've got an idea of your gameplay loop, and you're describing everything that you can do, and it's just like, oh, thank you for telling me that I could buy weapons and armor and like stuff, and then I can go and fight more monsters with that weapons and armor, so I can get more weapons and armor to fight more monsters. Like, I feel like that's a bit of a nitpick, and I'm being overly negative on one hand. On the other hand, though, I'm just kind of like,
well, I know the first Helldivers had like is held pretty high, so a lot of people were excited about Helldivers 2, and like I do like those little kind of co-op shoot 'em up games like that. But it's just how much is it going to be versus how much gameplay am I going to get?
Yeah,
because like that's the issue, is like whenever I get something like those, not all my friends get them, or not all my friends kind of stick with it, so I don't play it as much. So I've kind of avoided buying those as much. But then we have Foam Stars, which was Sony's version of Splatoon.
Yeah, real quick question about Foam Stars. It's still the area that you're covering, like that determines like the win and stuff.
I don't think so,
because
I think that just kind of determines like your. I don't know the gameplay loop of it, honestly. I am kind of curious about it. I think if it's kind of free to play when it comes out, I'll give it a shot. But like, I don't know too much about the gameplay loop, because like the battle modes they described sounded like it didn't really count the surface area. Yeah. So Toast had to.
Yeah. So yeah, like the Foam Stars, like it looked kind of interesting, and I think one thing that could put it up above Splatoon is volume, because like Splatoon, like you shoot the paint, it all winds up on the ground, all that fun stuff. But like with Foam Stars, like one thing that I kind of thought like was sticking out was the fact that like, you know, all the foam seemed to be like off the floor and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, is there something?
Yeah, it looked like they also had like some hero, like kind of like character based powers to it too, with going down the whole list of them, which some of them has some pretty cool designs, but it's also comes down to like, what is the install base going to be? Like Splatoon does so well, so like I think Foam Stars is kind of their way of trying to get in on how Splatoon's successful.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a underutilized like, or like Nintendo basically like tapped into a new gameplay mode, like, you know, like where it's just like, okay, yeah, you can run and gun all you like, but if you're not actually covering the objective like very well, then, yeah. So like, I mean, and with a hero system, I'm very interested to see what they might be able to do with that. But yeah, it definitely does come down to, okay, what are the fun bits that's going to introduce to the genre? So I'm interested. It's probably not like it's probably not one of those things I'm going to seek out to play myself because I like Splatoon fine, but I'm not overly obsessed with that one either.
Fair. So and then the last thing we're just going to kind of gloss over is Honkai Star Rail coming to PlayStation, which I'm actually pretty excited for because I play a little bit on my phone and I'd want to play it on my. It'd be much nicer just to play on console. It has a very fun turn-based system, but it's a gacha, which that's
I tend to avoid gachas for the most part, so I'm probably not gonna worry too much about that one myself.
Yeah. So
I wrote down
moving on to games like I actually wanted to like discuss. They showed a nice chunky bit of Spider-Man 2. And that is a game I am so day one on. I want this game. I've played the absolute mess out of like I got the platinum for the Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, and then Miles Morales. Like I have 3 plats for those games. It's like I love them so much.
I didn't plat Spider-Man, but I definitely played through it and enjoyed it very, very much. So I could basically see myself doing the same thing, especially because they said area's bigger. Did you switch between the Spider-Man kind of on the fly, with probably some exceptions where like, oh, well, this mission has to be Peter and this mission has to be Miles.
Oh yeah, they said that specifically.
Yeah, like, and you can collect Spidey suits.
Oh yeah, there's like a lot of suits. Which
they were definitely
cool.
showing like Venom gameplay too, which looked interesting.
Yeah, because Venom was very much hinted at in like the stories of the first 2 Spider-Man games, which is it's weird to say the first 2 Spider-Man games when this is the third. Yeah, and it's Spider-Man 2, but that be like it just Insomniac is a great studio. We talked about them making Ratchet and Clank last week. They're my second favorite game studio. I have so much faith in this game. I'm gonna play the absolute mess out of it, and I'm probably gonna cry during my playthrough because both of the other Spider-Man games made me cry. Have you ever played Miles Morales?
I started it. I didn't.
Okay, it's a shorter game.
I might have worn myself out on the gameplay of Spider-Man, like at the time.
That's fair.
So
that's fair. Like sometimes you need to get those buffers. You know, like you can't just go A to B to C. You just kind of need to go A to 3 to B.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think one thing that I've heard, like in regards to like say Super Mario Galaxy, is somebody like there was a video where someone was talking about it, and they were talking about like, I liked the game, it was a lot of fun, but when I finished it, I was like, it's a good thing I finished it there, because if I was had to keep playing it like for the time being, I would have just gotten sick of it.
Yeah, burnout is a real thing. Like
so but yeah, Spider-Man 2 definitely looked very, very.
It's day one for me without a question.
Yeah.
Like with the one thing that was cool that they showed like this really cool fast travel. Like you fast travel, you pretty much start mid swing on the fast travel, and I'm like, I'm never gonna use that. I'm gonna still swing my butt from A to B every time. The only time I'm gonna do any sort of quote unquote fast travel is when I had to switch my Spider-Man.
Yeah. That is the one thing I remember you saying regarding Spider-Man 2 is like, and I think I only started doing the fast travel when I was kind of like, I just want to get to this objective. Like basically when I was in a particular mood for something. If I was trying to like, basically pace out my story stuff or whatever, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to just veg out and stuff, especially because like, don't you get like little experience bonuses? Like when you're, doing like cool moves on the way from one place to another.
Yes, but they're kind of irrelevant. They're very minute.
It's irrelevant, but it's still kind of fun to see it working for you.
So after they talked about Spider-Man, they did show a couple of things. They showed, which was probably my biggest surprise out of all of the stuff shown yesterday. So Tales of Arise, part of the Tales of franchise, I love these games, and Tales of Arise was really good. It released like 2 years ago. And they're like, surprise, we're giving you some more DLC for it. That's apparently like a 20-hour experience called Beyond the Dawn. It releases in November 10th, I believe.
Yep.
And it's like...
I said in my notes, it looks neat.
It looks neat. Yeah.
So
The story of Tales of Arise got a little messy towards the end. Maybe this will clean up some of that stuff because it felt sometimes like they didn't get enough polish to where they wanted to. But the one thing that Tales of Arise had so well done was the characters. I loved the whole party. Their dynamics were fun. I love playing as them, fighting with them. It was just a really great game, and I'm so excited to be able to just hang out with that's like what I love about getting like more content for games. Sometimes is especially story-based games, I just get to hang out with those characters again. And I love that, and that's why Tales of Arise is probably like my favorite announcement yesterday. Because we got updates on stuff. Like I knew Spider-Man 2 was coming out. I knew a lot of these other stuff was coming out. But like Tales of Arise DLC was just awesome.
When you say you're most excited, like the thing you were most excited about, do you mean from both or just from State of Play?
No, both.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's not to discount what is shown in the Nintendo Direct, but like as far as announcements, like a lot of stuff was like upkeep. Like we already knew Spider-Man 2 was coming out. What we're about to talk about, we already knew Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth is coming out. These are things we knew were coming, so that you can't really call them announcements. Those were just updates.
Yeah. So, I guess on that note, shall we get to Final Fantasy 7, or was there anything else you wanted to talk about on
Final Fantasy 7? Holy crap, that trailer was cool. Showing us, how do you say his name? Do you say Ket Shi or Cat Sith?
Kate Sith.
Yeah. Apparently Ket Shi is more in line with like the Gaelic pronunciation or Celtic. I can't remember which. But like it's because it's like a cat spirit. And that's how you're supposed, like the pronunciation. So it's once we get this stuff voice acted, it's going to be put to rest.
Yeah. True. The big thing that I think we can take away from the trailer is that like all of the party members except for Sid
have basically been shown. They showed Vincent Valentine.
They showed Vincent, though they didn't show him in combat at all. Not that that's a problem.
And they showed Sephiroth in combat.
They showed Sephiroth in combat. I was actually here's the fun bit. I was kind of sitting here and thinking like, oh God, are they working in a mechanic? But then I'm thinking, wait a minute, there's the calm flashback. So
yeah,
that might be what it is. But the thing is, I thought him and Cloud were fighting the Material Keeper, which is a current day boss in the proper Final Fantasy VII game.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, like I'll put it to you this way: I saw the Cloud and Sephiroth thing, and I'm just kind of like, I hope that's the flashback thing, because if I guess they could be making it so it's just like, oh no, Sephiroth is a party member because like he's the dark side of Cloud or whatever, but I don't know.
They did announce a release date, which will be February 29th. So that's going to be awesome. There is also I think it only goes to like the end of October, but if you do not have, if you haven't gotten Final Fantasy VII Remake, or even like Final Fantasy the Remake Intergrade, like the like bonus version of it, there's actually a deal going on where if you can buy like a double pack for $70, which is a normal PS5 game, and get Remake Intergrade and Rebirth. So like that's honestly a great deal if you're excited about these games.
I platted 7 Remake and Intergrade, and I did suffer a little bit of burnout by the time I was doing the last little bit of it, but mostly because the bonus boss in it was just kind of like, like, so.
That's very.
I will say though, like they're definitely showing off a lot of the stuff that you kind of would expect to think about with Final Fantasy VII. Like, if you are coming from the classic game, like, oh, chocobo breeding, because they showed chocobos climbing up mountains and flying and doing this and doing that. They showed chocobo racing. They showed all the gold saucer stuff.
Did you catch the one thing they showed? Involving chocobos.
Cloud on a Segway.
Oh, they showed Cloud on a Segway, which is awesome. But they, if you look closely in the background, you can see Red 13 on a Segway. Or sorry, that would be even cooler. You can see Red 13 on a chocobo.
I did not see that actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they also said it's going to be 2 discs.
Yeah, that's been known. That's been like part of their marketing stuff is like, hey, 2 discs. I'm like, cool. I really want to know. Yeah, apparently this game is like 100 hours.
So Final Fantasy VII Part 3 is going to be 3 discs.
I hope.
They're just going to keep going until they have 7 discs.
That'd be cool.
For Part 7.
I'm very excited. Like they showed mini games. Andrea was back, so it looks like another dance number. Yep. I'm very excited about this game.
And I feel like they basically did everything like in Final Fantasy VII. Like the original Final Fantasy VII was 3 discs, about a 40-hour game, and essentially like I think they showed stuff all the way up through like halfway through disc 2.
According to like a statement they put out, this Rebirth goes to about halfway through the first game.
Yeah, so that sounds about right, par for course.
Yeah, and I'm very excited for it, and like I can't wait to see where the story takes us, because that's another day one buy for me. I loved playing Remake. I still need to do Remake Intergrade, but I'll get there.
If we're basically free from the Wraith stuff, where basically it's just like the only way we can go loosey-goosey with the story is if we resolve this going off the beaten path or whatever. And I'm just like, if it just accepts itself as being a remake at this point, then I'm going to enjoy it a lot more.
That was the point of the last game, of like when you killed the giant Wraith thing, that they're no longer stopping you from fighting fate, so you can change it however you want. So it's going to be I think this is where stuff really goes off the rails.
I agree, basically, because like, again, that was the bit where I'm just kind of like, you could have saved yourself a lot of trouble by just making an announcement with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yeah, it's not going to match the story exactly, actually,
but then you wouldn't get that same reaction to it. But like
you're right. The reaction where I actually don't feel like I'm wasting my time.
It made me so much more excited for the game as like a whole package.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah. I think I'm just a curmudgeon. That's all. It's just like, I get it. You want to go back and change a few things. You don't have to make it a whole thing about it. You could just make the changes if you're in charge. It's fine.
That's fair. So
I feel like I'm being a bit curmudgeonly there, but at the same time, not too much.
So we're gonna take a quick break before we go into the Nintendo Direct side, because we just finished the Sony. But what's up, Hazel? What's up, Popcorn?
Actually, we did not finish the Sony, because they announced controller colors.
I do not give two shits about that. So now that we did the state of play, we're gonna talk about the Direct, which was a longer presentation. Nintendo Directs tend to rapid fire games a lot more effectively than the other companies. The other companies tend to waste times with unnecessary graphics and stuff. So, like, Nintendo State of Play is game, little slideshow, game. That's it. It's very matter of fact, very quick, very effective. So
it might make me sound like a Nintendo fanboy, but I feel like Nintendo's a lot better with their presentations.
Oh, they started this whole trend.
They did, and I think the experience shows they really just cut to the quick. I get a lot more enjoyment out of watching Nintendo stuff than I do the other game companies.
So I'm gonna rapid fire through these, because
there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like, there's still a decent amount we're gonna talk about, but I'll still kind of rapid fire. So they announced Splatoon 3 DLC, which is like some like more single player levels, which I actually.
Oh, but that's like Foam Stars for Nintendo,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. Foam Stars for Nintendo. I'm excited for it because the original, or not the original, but Splatoon 2 DLC was really fun, had a lot of imaginative levels, so I'm curious what they can do with this. They showed more about the Prince of Persia game coming out, which is a side-scrolling Metroidvania.
Real quick, back to Splatoon, if you don't mind. You mentioned Splatoon 2 DLC. Like, it feels weird it feels weird to me a little bit for Splatoon, a multiplayer game, to basically be releasing DLC for single player stuff.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it has a single player mode. Like the single player
Yeah,
mode in
but
Splatoon is very fun.
yeah, it's just one of those things that I think they've done it before too, so it's not that weird. But at the same time, I just think as a concept, it's
Yeah, I greatly enjoyed the Splatoon 2 DLC, so I'm curious what this is. They had the
okay.
Prince of Persia, which is like a Metroidvania, very heavy boss combat, which looks fun. And here's some games I don't care about. Horizon Chase 2, which is just a completely average racer. Super Crazy Rhythm Castle, which I want to see more of. It just looked like a rhythm game.
I mean, I will say that like I had like a core memory unlock situation going on because like the music they used for that trailer was one that I remember like making the rounds on the internet for like different character animations that someone was doing. So it was kind of like, huh, what's the god? Where did this theme actually come from? So
And then we had so we were talking about Spy Family earlier. We have Spy Anya, which is basically like it looks like a little cute game where you like kind of go around as Anya, take little pictures, make little memories. Just it looks super cute.
yeah,
I don't know what it's all gonna be involved, but it looked super duper cute. After that, they showed a new Saga game, Saga Emerald Beyond, which at first I was pretty excited for it, but then I was like, this looks kind of basic, so I just want to see more about it.
yeah.
Because I
One thing I thought about that was that like it seems as though six heroes pick from six heroes is a theme that they're kind of that it feels like it's a trope that just has kind of taken off.
well, they have like I mean,
because
Saga's been around for a while. Like Saga Frontier is a game that had like different heroes and like you go through very vastly different stories. I don't remember how many different stories there were, but like
yeah,
they definitely each had their own little things going on. They showed Tomb Raider 1 through 3 coming to Switch, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
yeah, but like you can switch between the older graphics or the newer graphics.
Triangle boob or curve boob?
I mean, the thing is that triangles really get the point across.
They after that they showed it. I'm just ignoring that. And moving on. They showed Detective Pikachu 2, which I really wish they had Detective Pikachu 1 on the Switch in some regard because it's a good game. The movie was way better than it had any right to be, and
There's a lot to be said about like the number of games that should be on Switch that aren't already on Switch.
True, but like it's speaking of which, Trombone Champ is coming to Switch or is on Switch. It's already out. It came out.
I mean, not to yuck anyone's yum, but
It's
Trombone Champion is so not a game to put in any.
It's a meme. It's a meme. It's just funny to do. Then they showed up Battle Crush, which is like a beat 'em up with deities. War Tales, which I didn't really pay much attention to that one. It was like a strategy wartime game. It looked like.
Battle Crush, I thought it looked kind of interesting. I'd like to see more about it. War Tales, it looks nice, but I'm not too sure about the gameplay. It kind of looked bland to me.
Contra Appellation Galgu. I don't.
Contra 1 remake, basically. I think.
Okay, I was about to wonder. They showed 2 League of Legend Tale games, Bandle Tale and Song of Nunu.
I'm gonna say regarding that, I'm kind of surprised it's taken them like 15 years to really start picking.
These are like the third and fourth.
It's taken them 15 years to actually like start to branch out from like their main stay gameplay thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, they've also been going much more multimedia between this and like Arcane.
Yeah.
So they showed a new WarioWare minigame game, which like used the Switch, the Joy-Cons for like various things. There was one that straight up looked like you're just making like a pooping motion. It looks stupid.
You totally poop a golden egg.
Yeah, you poop a golden egg.
And it looks exhausting, so I'm probably not going to play it.
I think it'd be fun for like party scenarios, but other than that, another game that I was shocked to getting DLC so much later, Eastward, which is a beautiful game, some of the most gorgeous pixel art I've ever seen in a video game.
It looked very, very pretty.
Yeah, it's getting it's like almost like a farming sim DLC, which is not like how the original game was, but that's still really cool.
I think the only question that I wrote down a question that because I intended to go back to it and I didn't. Chucklefish,
were they a problematic publisher? I know they have a lot of fingers and pies and stuff.
There's something to do with their game no. I can't remember what the game was called. Star something.
Starbound?
Maybe. Something to do with that. I don't know. Like, there was a lot of stuff going on. I don't know enough to comment on it, to be honest.
Okay. I mean, if they're just publishing it versus like being the main developer or whatever, though, whatever. It was just one of those things that I'm just like, oh, Chucklefish logo. Wait a minute, didn't they run a trouble? Anyway,
then they had
not the time, not the place.
Chucklefish. Yeah, Chucklefish did do Stardew Valley, and then something happened where Concerned Ape pulled away entirely from Chucklefish, but I just don't know.
Yeah.
They showed Dave the Diver coming to Switch, which is like a game where like you dive, you get fish, you make sushi.
I've heard that game is chill as F.
Yeah, I really do want to play. I'm glad it's coming to Switch because like a game like a chill game, I do want to have handheld.
Yeah.
The final round of Mario Kart 8 DLC is coming, and it's bringing us our Lord and Savior Funky Kong.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I'm
the fact that Funky Kong didn't wind up in the Mario movie is weird. Is it even as a cameo, you know?
I mean, there's a lot of other stuff going on in there. I mean, people can argue that you could see him in the crowd. Plenty of people argue.
You could see Chunky Kong in the crowd.
Yeah, you could see.
You saw Chunky Kong before you noticed Funky Kong. That's a crime.
And then they also...
I'm not really that impassioned about it, but whatever. But yeah, really not much to say about Mario Kart 8. It's more Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, I'm happy about it. I'm gonna download it. I'm gonna race. They showed a new Among Us map, which, okay, cool. Among Us.
It has been a while since I played Among Us. I think I have it on Switch, so I could technically keep playing it.
So, they,
cool.
There's a, what's this, 9 other games they showed that we didn't bring up during this our little rapid fire right there.
Yep.
I don't want, what the poop is this?
What the poop is
no,
that?
It's not with my PlayStation or with my playlist. So they showed Mario vs. DK, which is a remake of the Game Boy Advance game, a puzzle platformer coming out next year, like a full 3D remake. And I'm like, I thought that was pretty cool. I'm pretty excited for that. Did you ever play the original Mario vs. DK?
I did not, though I heard pretty good things about it.
Yeah, it's like it's much more like puzzly than just straight up platformers. Like you're trying to figure out how to get through it rather than just like kill, stomp, going up, bump, 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 bump.
It definitely looks interesting. Like, did they properly confirm if it's a remake or if it's just like a new game in the series?
From what I looked up afterwards, I saw everything pointing to it being a remake.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like that's cool because like on one hand you're not really missing out, but on the other hand I'm also like, I mean, a remake this many years later, I don't know. Like it's probably not a day one buy for me, but if I wind up with a little extra cash and stuff, I could see myself buying it and enjoying it.
So moving on to a day one buy for you, we have Super Mario RPG. Full remake of the Super Nintendo game coming out on the 17th of November. Turn-based RPG. It looks like they built it from the ground up, and it looks like they still recapture like all the spirit of the original.
They capture a lot of cool stuff. They did make a couple changes from the original that I wrote down. Apparently, when you get an action command correct, you wind up damaging all enemies. I don't know if that's
not just correct, when you get it perfect.
Perfect. Okay.
They did say the word perfect. I don't know how forgiving that perfect will be, but they did use the phrase perfect.
Yeah, like is it perfect as in you got it within 3 frames, or perfect as in you had 4 or 5 frames to get a timed hit, but 1 frame to get it perfect? Yeah. Like it's kind of make me wondering if they're going to rebalance the gameplay, like the enemies a little bit, so that like even if you are getting perfect shots off like all the time, like, you know, is it still going to be like the same kind of pace? Like if you're hitting,
I do think it's still gonna be in that typical like Mario range of like it's still gonna be kind of chill about it, like being easy.
I mean, the other thing is the game wasn't hard to begin with.
Fair.
So yeah, they introduced a new triple move mechanic, which I think is really, really good. Because one problem that I think a lot of people could run into with the original is you get 5 party members. You can take 3 into combat. One of them has to be Mario. And you're basically going to pick your 2 favorites, or you're going to pick Peach at the very least because, she has healing. And usually Bowser because Bowser is just so cool.
There was another change they talked about. Post-game boss battle.
rematches.
Yeah, and probably the one that most people are most excited for. You can switch to the old soundtrack at any time. Like
I didn't remember hearing that. But
yeah, I don't know if it was announced during the Direct, but it has been announced since. You can just make it have the Super Nintendo soundtrack playing.
From what I heard of the stuff in the trailer, I still really much enjoy the.
Oh yeah, but it's like just having that option to go back to like the old music is something that everybody always loves.
It's always fun. Fun fact: there's like an Easter egg in like one of the areas where you actually go back to an 8-bit Mario, and I'm wondering if they're going to do the same sort of thing with Super Mario RPG Remaster, except they're going to take you back to like the Super Mario RPG sprite from the original release.
That'd be cool.
I think that would be a really neat way to evolve that Easter egg.
Yeah, because like I'll be honest, I've never played the original Super Mario RPG. I do want to play this. This is another. My wallet hurts. This is another.
It's taking a beating this time.
Yeah,
of year,
it's taking a huge beating. Oh my gosh! I think I have another game coming out in like 5 days. I'm getting.
Yeah.
Boundless Trails.
The other thing I'm going to say about Super Mario RPG is I like the chibi style that all of the characters have. Like Peach, like looks taller than Mario still, yeah, but like she still kind of has that little short stubby arms shtick, and I think it looks like the style like just is very much agreeing with me. So and what's this Bounds game you were talking about?
It's the kind of Trails spinoff kind of thing, Legend of Ayuda Boundless Trails, like an action game. It's being released in the West. It's been out forever. Like a port of it to the Switch is being released in the West, and other stuff. But I got the Switch version because me, and so like I just anytime like Falcon is like released anything in the West, I'm trying to get it to support it to show that there's a market here. So in hopes that other stuff won't take as long to make it over here, because it took like the Trails into Zero, Trails of Azure, Trails into Reverie. It took them years to come out here. So I'm hoping that makes it quicker. Just so you know, voting for my wallet. Speaking of years,
Sky was also super, super good. So
speaking of years to come out here, they announced another code recollection, which the original game Trace was called. The first game, let me get my thoughts in order. It was a collection of 2 games, and the first one was released in the States on the DS, not the 3DS, the DS as Trace Memory. And the second one was released on the Wii, but never in the States. So this is the first time the second game from another code is making it stateside. It's a point-and-click like adventure visual novel game with puzzles and stuff. And
I wasn't too familiar with it.
The art style looks very cool.
Yeah, that's what I was more trying to say.
I think I think my wife would very much get into that kind of game because she likes those kind of like adventure detective figure stuff out games. But it's still like I just love it when like games that never had a chance over here do get that shot.
Especially when they turn out to be really, really good.
Yeah, exactly. And then a game that was teased a while back, but now we're showing more of, Princess Peach Showtime, where it's basically Peach is sent to this theater and then has to save the day, and saves the day by dressing up in a bunch of different outfits and getting powers like Sword Fighter Peach, Kung Fu Peach, Chef Peach, and I'm pretty sure they had a Ninja Peach kind of hinted at.
They definitely said that the stuff that they showed is not the limit to her abilities in this game.
There was like a door that had a kunai on it.
Got it.
That's
I thought that looked really, really cool. I think it's very, very. I think one thing that Nintendo is probably like focusing on doing is trying to break out of the same old. Like, I feel like the last time Peach had a solo adventure was Super Princess Peach, like on the DS or Game Boy Advance.
I think that
DS maybe?
was DS.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the DS because like a lot of her abilities were basically like using the
Emotions.
stylus.
Using
Yeah.
emotions.
But using the stylus for activation and stuff. So yeah, in that one, I think it was Bowser kidnapped the Mario brothers, and Peach had to go rescue them. In this one, you don't see Mario, you don't see Luigi, you don't see Bowser. They might still be there, but like I think they're experimenting with, kind of a new setting. The other thing I'm going to say too is that like it's also nice to see Peach fleshed out like as a character outside of just being like a royal who doesn't really do anything but get captured. So
Yeah.
like
It does look
kind of
interesting.
showing off a lot of her chops.
I don't
here.
know how difficult of a game will be because it looked kind of like what they showed. It didn't look like challenging,
I doubt it's going to be.
but I
It's
am,
probably going to be able. It's probably going to be one of those games you could probably sit down and clear in an afternoon if you were really dedicated.
yeah. But
to
I
it.
am curious how it kind of reviews. I don't know if it's a day one buy for me, but I am curious of how this game kind of shapes up. After that, or
agree.
the next game. Oh, so there was a new Atlas and a new Vanillaware strategy RPG called. I love this name. It's called Unicorn Overlord.
I didn't see any unicorns in it. 1 out of 10.
Yeah, 0
It's
unicorns
what
out
I'm
of
rating
10.
it.
The art was gorgeous, which is anything you come to expect from a Vanillaware game. They're the ones who made 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim,
Yep.
Dragon Crown, Odin Sphere. They have a gorgeous art style. Everything like is so like hand drawn. I'm very curious about this game. Apparently, I was reading up on it a little bit. It's their biggest project to date. Comes out sometime next year. So I that's one I'm very much going to be paying attention to.
I feel like from what I could glean from the gameplay, the strategy, and it looked really, really interesting. So
Yeah, it was like a weird mix of like turn-based real time. It looked almost like Diofield Chronicles kind of strategy.
yeah, though I hadn't played that one. I think I downloaded. Do I have it on the PS5?
I don't know.
I don't know.
And now we have a franchise everybody's been waiting to be revived, just not like this. We got an announcement for F-Zero 99 joining Nintendo's ever-growing roster of games that you wouldn't think are battle royales, but are now battle royales.
It's a really, really good fit because I think F-Zero was always built on having a lot of racers that, and it's just being utter chaos.
Well, and another
So-
thing, this is a good litmus test for Nintendo. So if like this gets a lot of positive feedback, like people might actually see a new F-Zero game and not just a 99 game. The only thing I am worried about is like these games get sunset.
Yeah,
Super Mario 35 gone. Pac-Man 99 about to be gone.
yeah, that's definitely one thing I don't want to. I'm so happy that F-Zero fans are finally getting something. And anyone who basically is just kind of like, wow, Nintendo really giving the middle finger to F-Zero fans because this is all they get. I'm just like, they could have just said nothing.
Yeah, they could have
They
gotten
could have just
absolutely
done nothing.
nothing.
So,
This
Can
is,
it with that
I saw
talk.
this as an
I think
effort.
this is-
Saw it as an attempt. Something.
and, again, if they get enough things. And technically, too, if they wanted to, they could probably, like, keep the gameplay going on for a little bit longer by introducing new racers because they introduced just the 4 basic racers in F-Zero 91. The later games like started adding in like a lot of different things, so I see potential in it, like being a long lasting situation.
So, one thing my wife wanted from the direct was we've gotten farming sims for everything else. We get Mario games every other thing. Where is our Mario Sim farming game, where you get to date Bowser?
I mean,
I don't really know what to say to that other than like I actually am surprised there's not a Mario farming game. He's done pretty much everything else.
yeah,
But
I could,
I would play it, honestly. I would see how it goes because honestly, Nintendo does tend to put a lot of like love even into the silly stuff like that.
you can have Mario like working out in the field, and then he's like, whoo, and like he's rolling up his sleeves and brushing his sweaty brow, and, like I'm just getting the fanfic fuel just boiling over there. Did you intend to skip Luigi's Mansion 2, or did you mention that earlier?
I forgot to write it down.
Yeah, so Luigi's Mansion 2, HD remake. It's got multiplayer missions on it, which I think were there in the original because it was a DS game or a 3DS game.
3DS. I've played Luigi. So the only Luigi's Mansion game I haven't played is the first one.
The first one was good. I played it well after the original release date. It was perfectly fine. I haven't played Luigi's Mansion 3, but I think making every Luigi's Mansion available sounds good.
Yeah, but I do think, I don't know if I'll play it immediately. I think I'll just kind of wait and see how it is, because like I said, I played Dark Moon before, and so like I've done it, and it was really fun on the 3DS. I just don't know if I want to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then they also gave us some updates. They gave us a release date on it, and I forgot to write down when it was. But Ayuden Chronicles 100 Heroes. We have both been enjoying to death a kickstarted JRPG that's meant to like incite feelings of like retro games. Like it's with Sea of Stars meant to feel like Chrono Trigger. Ayuden Chronicles is made by like the devs of Suikoden. And it looks so cool. Like the art style for it's great.
Suikoden, you could recruit 108 heroes, I believe. And then, like, this basically is taking a page from that book where it's just like, yeah, you're building your community around, like, these people that you're recruiting. April 2024.
April? Okay, cool.
This was the first point where I said the pixel art on the game, like, looks beautiful. And then they immediately follow that up with Octopia, Wargroove 2, which we'll get to. And Dave the Diver, I thought looked really, really cool with its pixel stuff, even if it was like
Octopia?
Kind of larger stuff. Octopia, right? Eastward Octopia?
Oh, Eastward. Eastward. Okay. Yeah, I was bad and I didn't write the name of the DLC down. I just wrote Eastward DLC. But yeah, no, Eastward.
Yeah, you'd already talked about it, but I just wanted to say that pixel art looks so good for this game, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one. I was just like, wow, okay.
Yeah, pixel art is... I love good pixel art. It ages well, and when it's done right, it's just beautiful.
Yeah. I did kind of write down like real quick when I saw that the hero was long dark hair and his name was Noah, but like then his name was spelled Nowa, and I'm just kind of like, I guess they're trying to avoid conflicts with Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and then I guess.
Which another little thing they did announce during the direct was more amiibos, like Sora, Zelda, and Ganondorf from Tears of the Kingdom, and the one that they've already gone on pre-order and pretty much sold out, and I nabbed the pre-order, was Noah and Mio from Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I'm very excited to see and to get those because I just got like my Pyra amiibo.
Nice.
And my Mithra amiibo, and my Pyra amiibo is just out of reach.
And you can't go and get that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'd have to lean up in my chair and like move my mic.
Yeah.
Then they showed off Wargroove 2, which I know both of us have been very much looking forward to. We played the absolute shit out of Wargroove 1. And I'm very excited for this. Apparently they have like a roguelike mode they're adding to Wargroove 2 that's going to definitely like up the replayability of it. Very, very pumped for that.
Definitely looked like more of the same, and that's a good thing. Wargroove 1 was good.
Yeah.
They introduced a new like rat race or mouse race. And I think those rats or mice or whatever, they had griffins like kind of as a flying unit. That looked awesome. Really awesome. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I hope it kind of I'm very much looking forward to it. I want to play that game again. Wargroove was very, very fun to play. And then now that brings us to, which is probably the most the most excited game people that got announced. They announced this is a remake. That's not a remaster. It's a remake of Paper Mario 10,000 Year Door.
1,000 Year Door, but yeah.
1,000 Year Door? Why is there
The
always...
1,000-year door.
The 1,000-year door. I thought it was 10,000-year door.
Nope,
Wow.
it is the 1,000-year door.
Because I knew the acronym people always threw around when they were whining about Paper Mario was TDYD.
It's TTYD, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, maybe you got confused because it's been like 10,000 years since they released the 1,000-year door.
Yeah, but yeah. So that full remake. They're also, I do believe they also have like the same like sound options they mentioned before. It looks gorgeous. I never got the chance to play 1,000-year door.
So, context. I was like listening to the direct. I mentioned that a little bit earlier. The first time we listened to any of it, I was listening to the direct, and when I started hearing like all like the stuff for like 1,000-year door, I basically did have to stop and kind of check because I was just like, okay, that's definitely a Paper Mario game I'm hearing.
Yeah, they showed Paper Mario, and then they were like Rogueport, which I knew that was a name thrown around.
Yep. And like when I get over there, and I'm just like, oh, okay. So they're releasing what most people say is the best Paper Mario game. Cool. I guess for additional context, I've played through Paper Mario completely. I did burn out on 1,000-year door before I finished it, but there was some really, really, really good stuff in that. I played a little bit of Super Paper Mario. I didn't get all the way through that, but like, and then most of the other ones after that I haven't touched.
I played Sticker Star. I actually like Sticker Star. I didn't.
And you also played Origami King.
I haven't beaten Origami King, and I like that as well. I never played Color Splash.
Mm-hmm.
I played Paper Jam.
Yeah,
Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, the crossover of the Mario and Luigi games and the Paper Mario games.
Which we need more Mario and Luigi games. We do. Too. Yeah. But no, I am definitely super excited for that one. That's probably also going to be one that I buy like probably immediately.
Day one buy. So, yeah, mm-hmm. I can see myself doing that as well, especially the game looks gorgeous. Like you can tell this wasn't just a lazy like cash grab. You can tell there's effort, like a lot of effort put into this game, and very much so was like I want this game. I want to see what all the hype is about, because there's the amount of love that is directed towards this game is unreal.
Did you ever play Paper Mario 64?
Nope.
Okay. If you play Paper Mario 64, think of that. And if Paper Mario 64 is a 7 or 8, 1,000-year door is an 8 or 9. Like, that's just basically how it is. It's very, very functionally similar to...
Comparison means nothing to me.
You know the difference between 7 and 8?
I know, but like, you're like, it's like, if you've played... I didn't play that. Well, then if you played that, then this is better than that. And I'm like...
So... Still, my point here is the fact that like it's basically more of Paper Mario 64, but like, you know, they kind of refine a few things, instead of having like a number of characters who all the characters in it are less bland. It introduces a Yoshi partner, and you know, also has like a really, really cool like chapter in the middle of it. People who've played it would know what I'm talking about, but yeah, play the game.
I plan on it.
Play Paper Mario 64 while you're at it, because that's a good game too.
I plan on playing it. There's so many of these games I want to go, but I know we kind of talked about it earlier. I'm pretty sure I know where you're going to lean on this, and I'm curious. Actually, I know where you're going to lean on this. Which company do you think had a better showing?
Oh, definitely Nintendo.
Nintendo.
I mean, it's basically more to do with the presentation. It's like just you did like the one thing that you didn't mention was the Nintendo Museum, and I kind of agree with you. It's just kind of like, okay, cool.
I can't go there anytime soon.
It's like yeah, it's cool that you're putting together a museum and you have like a question mark block like on the roof of the building. That's neat. Doesn't mean a lot to me right now. Sorry. And then the amiibos and stuff like that. Like the only time they're not talking about games and like not getting to the point was basically when they're doing the amiibos and when they're doing the Nintendo Museum, which is like, you know, that's important to somebody, sure. A lot of the stuff with PlayStation, anytime they they just languished on with a lot of their trailers. Like it's just like, okay, I get the point, and you're harming your presentation by letting some things go on for too long.
Fair.
Like you shouldn't be like, you shouldn't be like, crafting like your controller colors out of like, the essence of the gods for a minute each and showing it like 3, 4, 5 different colors. It's like, all right, cool. I literally can't have all those color PS5 controllers working on the same PS5 all at once. What's your point here? You're boring me.
You could if you had friends.
No, well, is there any? I mean, I'm going to ignore your rudeness there. But is there any PS5 game that has more than 4 player capabilities on it?
Just Dance.
I'm going to.
I don't know, honestly.
Yeah.
But honestly, I they kind of tied for me because like whereas Nintendo had a lot more stuff shown, I got freaking Tales of Arise DLC. And I'm like,
yeah, I
I
still need to play Tales of Arise, so that's one of those where
that just hits so hard for me because like I love that game, like so I just being able to play that more, and then how big Spider-Man 2 is going to be for me. So it just makes it so hard. But like I think, but I will be completely objective, and in terms of like sheer actual announcements, Nintendo definitely took away. But just the fact that they talked about Rebirth and Spider-Man 2 just gave them a lot of credit for me.
I mean, I think one person, one of my streams recently, last night's stream, because obviously, basically was just like, yeah, it was a big showing for people who like Final Fantasy. Basically, everything else was kind of like, yeah, and I'm just like, it had more than just Final Fantasy 7 in it, but yeah, starting with I can't remember the name. Baby Steps. Starting with Baby Steps and letting that one go on for
silly.
5-6 minutes.
I have
and you get the point, and then they do jokes, and then they do more of it, and it's just kind of like, yeah, okay. Like it wasn't a good way to start the thing, and it kind of soured my experience for the rest of it. And once or twice, I'm sitting here like, all right.
Yeah, it was just
next.
Yeah, too much fluff. But unless you have anything more to add about the games shown, I think that kind of wraps it up, right?
I think so. Like overall, I'm pretty excited, pretty stoked.
A lot of good stuff to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
So on our next episode, like I know we said we were going to do Trails this episode, but we wanted to talk about this stuff and give them more of its time. It's pretty much going to be a solo episode talking about Trails in the Sky, first chapter, which we both enjoyed. We're probably not going to have like a discussion topic like we did in the first episode, but we'll see how it plays out. That'll probably be in a week or two. This one kind of got recorded early just because of the current event. And yeah,
it's one of those things where if we can get something together, like, kind of in response to like kind of a big news drop or whatever, like I definitely want to keep doing that a little bit more. But yeah, like Trails is too big of a topic to cover, like, in one video, and then still expecting to have like a bunch of extra I was about to say superfluous. That's not the right word at all. And a bunch of extra stuff to talk about. Like, it is just so chunky all by itself.
Pretty much. So,
and I think the only other thing that I can say that with certainty that we're going to be discussing soon is probably Sea of Stars.
Yeah, because I'm getting towards the end. You're at the end.
I'm basically, I think I basically have an hour of gameplay left. Not including side content like go here and fight this thing. Okay, sure.
But yeah, so this has been the second episode of the Chewing the Breeze podcast. My name is Doug. You can find me on most anything you can find on the internet that says Doug Ventures.
Yep. And my name is Steve, and my foe is a toaster. You can find me basically anywhere under that name, or my foe is a toaster because of character limits.
Yep.
So yeah.
All right. Thanks for hanging out with us, and yeah.
until next time, play more games.